Hello everybody, V here. Today I'm going to, well it's tonight, I'm going to be working on an older mower I have. It runs good. The only problem is that the spring that controls the idle, this one you run it, you start it and it runs. It doesn't have any kind of throttle control. Well, the little spring that keeps the idle where it's supposed to be, that's gone. I'm not really sure where the heck I would buy something like that at. I don't know what length I need, anything like that. Right now I've kind of got a piece of wire rigged up. Let me get you in close here so you can see what I've got to try to work with. This mower being my older one. There we go. You can see that pretty good actually. This mower, my daughter likes to mow the yard, so I let her use the new one. This one I just used to do trim. So right now I've got a stiff piece of wire to kind of hold it in place. What I envision doing is using this bolt right here. This is holding on the gas can. I'm going to fashion a plate and maybe weld a nut on here. And what I want is so that I can do like this and adjust the idle on this thing. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Small engine repair is not my specialty, but it's just a machine, so you know, if it's a machine, I can work on it pretty much. Either I'll fix it or it'll be, hell, it wasn't running before, ain't no big deal. So that's what I'm going to do. As I fashion pieces and stuff, I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to pull the air filter case and all that off and show you what I've got to work with here. So if you stick around, maybe you'll see something that could help you, or you've got an easier way or something you've done yourself you can share with us and avoid the mess I'm about to get into here. So keep watching. Alright, so here's what we're working with. This is some 14 gauge wire. It's the same stuff I used to make my chainmail stuff out of. The only problem with doing it with this is I have a lot of slop here, and I can't fine tune it, you know, to make it run the way I want. So like I said, it's got a couple springs here still, but I don't know what I'm missing that's throwing this thing out of whack. So I'm gonna fashion the plate like I said and try to find a way to mount here, and that way I can adjust in and out and get it to run the way I want. This is the throttle and stuff. Yeah, this goes down, fuel and air come in here, then goes in there. And this looks like the some kind of valve down in there. I guess I need to get me a small engine repair book. It can't be that damn hard. I mean, look how small it is. You know, maybe a couple hundred pieces into the whole thing. So, I'll try to think how the heck I can mount this. Probably the attachment on this end will be the hard. All this right here, all thread. A plate, a bolt, a nut welded here, and then turn here, maybe a lock nut so that it doesn't back out, and then attaching it here so that I can turn but still be free movement, you know, like this. You don't want to turn like that, then you'll bend stuff. So that'll be the trick. I have to think about it for a second as I'm doing it, and once I decide what the heck I'm gonna do, of course I'll share it with you, because that's just the kind of guy I am. Alright, so what I've figured out is this piece right here, this adjusts in and out. Now, the way it is sitting normally, there's a plate right here that stops it from coming back anymore. So if I make my adjustment screw come in from the side here, like that, where I can come in and out, I know that in its normal state, it's pulled all the way back. So sitting like this, all the way back, if I don't like the way it is running too high, I can slowly push forward, and that'll slow the engine down, because that's the problem I have. It gets to revving so freaking high, I'm scared to death it's going to blow itself up. You know, it doesn't need to run that high just to cut grass. So I will come, let's see, can you see that screw? Okay, my little plate here. There we go. Alright, so I will get a plate. First I'm going to have to cut this off with my coping saw, which I showed you in another video, one of these deals. I will cut this piece of steel off, because even though this is on a rivet to swivel, again, there's a bent piece of metal here that stops it from moving. So this doesn't really move. Maybe on another model, you know, that you can adjust the throttle or something like that, that may move. On this one it doesn't. It doesn't move. So I'm going to cut it off right here. Then that'll give me access to this bolt. I'll come with a flat piece of steel, probably right here. I'll have to bend it, and then so that I can come in like this, because I don't need to come like this. I need to come like this so I can push that and set the adjustment where I want. Now I know that just the flat end of a piece of all thread, I probably won't do that. I'll probably put a maybe either weld a washer or put a nut on the end, so I have more surface area to push against this little piece right here. And that's my intention right there. So I'm going to cut this off with the coping saw, and then see what size piece of metal I need to cut so that I can fashion my little adjustment plate. Okay, so I got that cut off. The coping saw, the way the end of this is, it wouldn't let me cut, so I had to use the hacksaw. I forgot to say before I started, make sure you put something in the intake here, because you do not want metal shavings getting into that. And also I filed this off so there's no edges to catch me later when I start working here. I don't want to do like that and cut my knuckles open, which I've done that before. Alright, so I've cut my piece of steel, and now what I want to do is mark where I'm going to drill my hole. Now, I cut this piece so that it was taller. I cut it so I have clearance from the air filter housing. So I'm setting it level on the lip of the gas tank without pushing the gas tank down, because I want the hole to line up. And then I mark the center of the hole on my steel. So then what I'll do is I'll just draw a straight line across, and then try to give it some room on this side, something to grab onto. I'll probably come over about yay far. Yeah, that'll be good. So let's put us a center line here, and then these two marks, you probably can't see them. I can see them where they'll intersect. I'll drill me a 1/4 inch hole. That's a 1/4 20 threaded hole, and then I'll put that on there. Let's see. Yeah, and then angle it over a little bit. Wow, that's going to be a little bit difficult to get something there from this angle. Will I be high enough? Yeah, I'll have to come in kind of like this. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It may be a little bit more difficult than I thought. There's all kinds of junk in the way right here for me to go in right there. What I may end up having to do is bolt this piece on and then cut right here a little bit so that I can angle this out. I may actually have to come in from here, not over here like I was hoping, to hit. Yeah, because I'm going to have to come in at an angle like that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to cut along this line here. And then I can actually cut this plate shorter because I won't need the whole thing now to do that. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to cut this short, drill me a hole, mount it on there, and see what I've got to work with. Alright, there's the plate mounted before I do anything else, 1/4 inch hole. It's on there good and snug, and it sits right on that lip. So if it does come loose, it's going to wobble this way, which it shouldn't because I've got a lock nut right here. It's not just the head of the bolt. You like my color of rag there? So I've got the bolt. Then I've got a lock nut with a lock washer behind it. So it should not... I've never had it come loose before. I did when I just had a bolt in there holding it, so that's why I put the lock nut and washer. So that's there. Now I need to... And I've decided not to cut here because I don't want it weak. So I'll bend it, you know, just like... Well, like this. It's a bent piece of metal. So that's what we're going to do. Slowly, and then once I've got it kind of lined up, I'll get the smallest piece of all thread I have, which I'm not sure what diameter that'll be. I'll let you know when I find it, because that'll be longer. All thread will be longer than any bolt I have that could reach that far, and that's how we're going to do that. Alright, before I started bending, I clamped as high up as I could, that upper lip right there where the plate ends, that thick stuff. I clamped it with a pair of vice grips because when I go to bend, I don't want it bending all the way down here. So I've got it clamped here. Got my pair of channel locks. Actually, it's not a pair of it, it's a Jensen pair. Channel locks is a brand name. But anyway, that's what everybody knows them about. So I'm going to slowly start to bend this, try to get an angle. Now, the piece I found was a little 1/4 inch, 20 piece of all thread. That'll come that way. That's not enough. So there we go. That go a little bit more. And the reason I'm using a channel lock pair of pliers versus slip joint pliers is I wanted something with a little bit more surface to grab with, not just that little 1/4 inch piece at the end there. Oh, that looks like that would work. Let's take this nut off real quick. Oh man, that's freaking sweet right there. Alright, so now I just got to get my height right, and I have to account, not only do I have my rod, but I'm going to have the nut on the end also to have surface area to press against that little, the piece I showed you that moves back and forth. So I don't know if I'm going to weld this or not because I don't want any catch points inside. I think what I'm going to do is get the thread flush with the nut, and then I'm going to use a punch and create divots in there so that this can't back out. Or actually I may just put some red thread locker, Loctite red, because that'll take a lot of temperature. Yeah, that's probably the way I'll do it. That way it'll be nice and flat, and that way it won't back out. So that's probably what I'll do next. Go ahead and I need to measure, see how high I need to be, how far over I need to be, which actually is about right there. And then I'll take this off and drill me a hole. And then I have to find a way to lock this. Well, it looks like I'm scared if I go to weld on this little piece of steel, my welder's going to burn right through it. So I'm probably going to have to put a nut on each side, and that'll be my adjustment. Once I have it, I'm not going to have to adjust it again once it's set. So that's, I'm going to measure and drill my hole. Alright, so this worked out well. Got it right there. And hits almost dead center of my bolt, so that's awesome. That'll give me adjustment however much I want. Like I said, not touching it in its normal state, and then just make the adjustments as I want. So now that I know that, I will cut my bolt or my all thread out here. I'll never have to go this far, so I'll probably cut it about right there. I'll mark that and cut it, and that'll just give me an extra long piece. It looked kind of Frankenstein-y, but I don't care. As long as it works, hell, I'm not selling it to nobody. Okay, I told you I was going to dimple the end of this, and I don't know, somebody may not know what I mean. I ran the all thread flush with the nut here. Now what I'm doing is taking a ball peen hammer, small one, and my punch. And what I'm doing is I put the punch near the, not in the crease here where it meets, but right past it. And then what I do, put my glasses on, is I drive the material, get here, into the threads. Say, just drive that material into the threads, the side of the nut, and then what that does, see, it can't turn now. It would take a lot of force to get that mushed material to come out of there. So that's just a quick way. I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to weld, and it's still pretty flat. You know, if I set it there, it'll stand up because I didn't alter the face of it. I just mushed it down a little bit. So that's just a little trick you can do to make a fixed nut on the end. And I'm probably going to do the same thing on this side. I'll have to take the plate off and then do the same thing. That way I'll have an adjustment. I can turn with my wrench like that and make the adjustments that I need to get the mower to run the way I want. So that's just a little trick if anybody's never seen that before, on a way to fix a nut to the head or make a head bolt onto a piece of all thread. Now that's a bolt. So that's how you do that. Simple stuff. Alright, just real quick, I lied to you. I try not to do that. The dimple trick worked on my push plate. It did not work here. I was testing to see if with this locked down, if I could twist, and the dimples did not hold. So what I'm going to do on this end is I'm just going to put two nuts, lock them together, and then that way they'll be better. What I'm going to have to do is when I go to adjust this, loosen one of these nuts, move in just a little bit, and then tighten it back down. So the dimple trick will work to hold something, but once you put a wrench on it and torque, that's not going to work. So yeah, that's the way that worked. If it was a bigger application, what I would actually do is drill a small hole through the nut and the all thread and put me a little like a spring pin or something like that in there. But as small as this, I don't have nothing that small, so I'll just put two nuts, lock them down, and that's how that is. I didn't want you guys doing that and then thinking it's going to do and it doesn't do what I told you. So I don't want to be a fucking liar on some shit like that, you know, get somebody hurt. So just wanted to share that with you. Alright, so there's what our finished product looks like. We're locked in here. This plate's not so thin that it'll just vibrate, you know, on its own. We've got two of these locked in together, the nuts. We got a nut here. I'm going to move you around over here so you can see. Let's see if we can zoom in. This camera's freaking awesome. Alright, and then we got another nut here. There's our adjustment flat face nut, and of course I'm gonna take you off the thing here. Whoa. And then pushing against that that little plastic piece there that throttles, it shifts and throttles. So I would start it up and give you a demonstration, but it's, what is it? Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock at night Easter Sunday, so my neighbors probably would not appreciate that. But it has to work because I was using a piece of wire to push and pull to figure out what the hell, you know. So now I actually have an adjustment, you know. Loosen up that, give it a little tweak, tighten it down, start it up, see what happens. If it's not what I want, shut it off, back off, go another little tweak, tighten it up, and that'll do it. So no welding, just drilling and cutting. When I cut the metal, all I used, man, let's unzoom a little bit, jeez, the yellow pair, which is the straight cut, and that's all I used to cut it. And the piece of metal, all it was like drawers like this, you know, your desk drawers. It was just one of those divider plates that separates the drawer. That's all it was. I just cut it with the snips, fashioned it on here. You saw how I bent it. And now that I'm looking at it and I touched it 3 different times, I'm going to go ahead and just file these corners round, because I know the first time I go to adjust it and I'm in a hurry or something and I cut my hand, I'm going to be pissed. So I'm just going to file those down sort of round, and that's all there is to it. So hopefully that helps somebody. I know it's a little more complicated than going and buying the spring, but there was jack shit on TV after I watched The Simpsons. I hadn't seen that in probably about 3 years, so there was nothing else on TV. I figured I might as well fix it, so what the hell, you know. Plus, like I said, I don't know. I got 2 springs sitting right here. I don't know what the hell it needed, so well, that's all it is to it. That's me rambling on about fixing a mower with a pink rag in it. So, so you guys have a good evening. I hope you had a good Easter. And the next thing we get to, I'll show you what we're doing. So y'all take it easy. I appreciate your views, and I appreciate very much I don't know why, but my subscribers is growing. Well, not like you're getting fat, but the number of subscribers is growing, and I appreciate that. Once we hit, I was gonna do it at 300, and then I got lazy. So when I hit 400, I'm going to do a giveaway, probably either something like a pipe knife or a trench knife, or not trench knife, a trench spike. Ooh, maybe a trenchion, a lead-weighted trenchion, that'd be cool. I'll probably pick a winner, and you tell me what you want. I'm not sure what the contest is going to be yet, but once I hit around 400, that's when I'll do it, and then give you guys a reward for watching and stuff. So I appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next project. Thanks for watching.